took down underneath there, man, and tortured for like 4 hours. And at the end of that ordeal, man, you know, they took me to the water, to the river, and they laid me down face first, man. They're like, breathe the water in, things like that, and got their foot on my head, man. Like, fucking breathe the water in that. I'm like,
Francis Wilson hosted the popular YouTube channel The Streets, where you establish yourself in Glasgow city centre, highlighting the suffering of people living rough and supporting the homeless. In the past, you were a drug addict living in the streets, so you've got first-hand experience of what these people are going through. But before we get into that, if we can just go back to early life in order to understand the context behind what brought you here today. So what was life like growing up for you?
Life growing up for me, Jordan. So I grew up in Pollock, so I did. And growing up for Pollock was a bit of a heavy scheme, eh? And I was just a wee quiet guy. I was brought up in a strict Catholic upbringing, chapel every Sunday, all of that stuff, you know. When we were growing up, I remember my mum, everybody was allowed to leave the street, but we weren't. Very protective mother, eh? So that brought its challenges, you know, with people like started our slaggings and all of that stuff, you know. So when I was allowed to venture out, really, I was still closed in, timid wee guy, you know what I mean? And I started going about the older ones. I didn't go about the ones my age, eh? Like, I had the name of my pals, but always drifted after the older ones, you know what I mean? I'd follow my big brother like that, man, and he would go that way and I'd go that way, and I just sitting there close with all these older guys, man. I smoked hash, taking hash pipes and all that. I started doing that. But very quickly I started getting bullied and that, eh? And that just added to this closeness that I felt. No, like, always felt there was something missing. I always tried to replace it with other things, eh? Like that. And I think when I found hash, man, it was like, this is good, man. Like, I could communicate with people, things like that. But then the bullying came. No, everybody smoked hash and everybody gets bored, and I started getting bullied and all that, right? And I still can't understand to this day why I was getting bullied until a few years ago, and a boy says to me, he says, because everybody thought you were mixed race. And I thought, how people think I was mixed race? But we were very dark, me and my brothers, eh? Like that. So that was part of it, plus we were Catholic. So, you know what I mean, in the ranked places with the ranked people, you know, like a lot of bullying happening. So that added to the trauma in my life. The first parts of it, I still got, like, you know, like, I don't know, you can see like fag burns and things like that. Various scars on my arms, you know, where also the bullying got very dark. Eh?
How dark did it get?
Dark to the point where I could have all my clothes stripped off me, man, you know, then bullied about. No, then just left in the back of a close, man, for an hour, 2 hours, man. People just laughing and kicking away and that, you know what I mean? And that was horrible, man. It was like mentally and just every time. It's as if, I don't know, can you say, I love the hash pipes, I love the joints, and even though I was getting bullied like that, it was like, that's what kept me going back to the closes, man, to sit in them. You know what I mean? It was the thought of that.
What, the drugs they had?
Aye,
So
holding like, a cola can at my mouth, man, and taking a hash pipe, then getting battered, fuck it, but it was worth it. And it's mental, man, the way that works.
So would they like hang about you in the pretensions of pals and then just turn on you?
No, they were just older. And I was just this wee...
What was the age difference?
No, 6 years. The oldest one
So
was
age
the
were you
others.
roughly?
I was like 11,
Right, okay.
11,
Right,
12,
they were like,
so they were all like
teenagers?
teenagers.
Right, okay.
So they were like, aye. And so, they were teenagers, man, and I was just this wee, well, no wee, I was tall, this big, tall, skinny guy. And like turns as well, like we tanned a chippy in Pez Road West, and there was these bars, you know what I mean? I was getting forced through these bars, man. So it just like, Aye, man. I got heavy used, you know, and abused to be like, you know
Right,
what I mean, in my scheme, man. And then the children's home came. Like, I put myself in there, first of all, no, just to make that clear, man. It's like, I over exaggerated about my parent, about my dad. And if I look at the psychological, no, why did I do that? No, it was like I was getting to a point in my head where I just couldn't breathe, man. Everywhere I was getting bullied, man. These things. The last worst thing was I got kidnapped, out playing with an older guy. Out at Rossall Point, I don't know, you know Rossall Point.
I know it.
It was like the old toilets at Rossall Point. No, they're torn down now, but it was an old public toilet building.
I know where
at the pond.
The pond is.
Aye. So we were in there playing about in there, and that was an old rep building by this time. And these two guys have come round, man, started chasing us about. Oh, what the fuck's going on, man? No. Then they got hoddies and they pulled out a blade and that. Threatened us, right, on the back of that bite. If you get half it, he'll stab your mate. No, just pure coerced. Took to, you know, the Crookston Road, the bridges at Crookston Road, just down for Booper. It's the bridge. Got took under there. It's before they put all the scaffolding under it and all that. No, it was just.
Right, so is it part of like a cycle and it can kind of take you? I know exactly.
Yes,
you think all the young team get mad out, don't they?
Yeah. So
it back in, I know.
All the scaffolding, that's there now, but back in this day that wasn't there. It was just bare. So took down underneath there, man, and tortured for like 4 hours. And at the end of that ordeal, man, you know, they took me to the water. To the river, and they laid me down face first, man. They're like, breathe the water in, things like that, and got their foot on my head, man. Like, fucking breathe the water in that. I'm like, not today, I learned how to swim just a couple of months previous, man. No, and it's just feeling for that right moment. I was fucking a scared rabbit, man, innit? But I managed to get myself away in the current and swim for my life. And no, I came out the water, man, and my wee man that's in the veranda. It was like a summer's day. I remember coming out drenched, and my man just bought me baseball boots, and fucking I had one on, and the other one was lost, floating down the park cart somewhere. And that, it was like fuck, and I was a mess, man. I was like the elephant, man. Fucking he'd all swollen out face, everything done right in. And the guy that supposedly I've got kidnapped ways now I'm older and I'm sitting here, I know that was all I set up. I don't know these people had against me. I don't know. Was it because they thought I was mixed race? Was it because I was Catholic? I don't really know. I still don't know to this day. But this guy, man, I'm getting took to the hospital. My mum's like, here's that. No, this guy was supposed to have kidnapped me, and I seen with my eyes them kicking into him, but now I know they must have just been pretending. Because he's standing in a close-up veranda laughing his head off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that, and there's me getting took to the fucking hospital, you know what I mean?
So why did they target you in this instance? Was this just part of the prolonged bullying? Was it the same people that had been doing it up until then?
Yep, like these two, didn't know these two for Adam, man. These two, to this day, I still don't know who these two people were, man. But what I do know is they took a wee vulnerable fucking kid under a bridge and nearly murdered them. And for whatever reason, I'll never probably know that reason. You know what I mean? But that's my truth, and that's what happens, you know. It's like mixed race. Is because I was mixed race? Is that how...
Are you mixed race, or did they just think you were mixed race because of the...
These people just think that because my dad was very dark.
Just sallow skin then?
Aye.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? So was it for that reason? Was it for the reason we're Catholic? I don't know. I just, back in the days, I couldn't think people were that evil. I didn't even think murderers existed when I was younger, man.
Yep.
But aye, it's just like, I look back to the days, and it's like, that's why I say, I was talking on this other podcast, and it's about identity. No, and at 50-year-old, actually, I'm still searching for my identity, you know. And hopefully one day I'll find it. I can say I'm more than 3/4 of the way there of finding who I am and my identity and where's my place in the world, you know. But back then, there was no identity, there was no purposes, there was nothing, because it'd all been took and battered out as. Nah, I mean, bullying, fucking kidnapping, children's homes, running for the children's homes, into Glasgow city centre, drug addiction, you know, it was all packed under all that stuff. So we're doing what we're doing today, you know, that stuff can get unpacked now, you know, the blockages of that past, you know, can start to unwind. You can start to feel and start to sense this wee bit of purpose again. Start to sense an identity of who I am and where do I belong, you know. As I say, I'm 3/4 of the way there, and I'm confident I'll get the other quarter, you know, to become the whole person that I am meant to be in life. But it's leaving, it's making that breakaway fully. You know, I was talking to somebody today, and we're talking about when we come out of recovery, when we get clean, you know, we can get after the drugs, we can do that, but what we're left with, you know, we're still left with life, we're still left with how do we cope.
Now you realise the drugs are just a symptom.
Aye, right. So it's like that, man. It's just like that for me, accepting the things I do today, accepting who I am today, and that's helped to build that identity and create. This is who Francis Wilson was. This is who Francis Wilson is now. You know, who he was before had no identity. The law's broken, a fucking sunk ship in the night. Who he is now, you know, and I quite like to look at myself humbly today, and accepting and humility and humbleness, you know, to keep myself correct that everything I've got today, you know, I take no credit for myself, cause, you know, I'm a man, you know, I am but a man. I'm a speck of dust in the eyes of God, you know. So I give all the praise up to Jesus Christ, amen, you know, for where my life is now, and that's even included sitting in your studio right now, you know, across for you. Everything is directed by the King of Kings, you know, for me and my understanding of how I became to be this person, you know, and the things that I'm doing today, and the journey that I've been through, from being a wee small kid, getting bullied, getting battered about, to being this man today, you know, that can flagship 2 platforms, man, and raise that awareness, you know, like what we do at the street, say, like, I can be that flagship today, and I can be able for people know we're talking about there, like, I've been in some good hospital visits, man, and it's brilliant. No, I've been to some house visits, and it's amazing. And somebody says to us, do you know video that? I says, no, that's my spare time, like Kaylee was saying, you know what I mean, like the people at Message. I'm not going to turn up with a camera, man.
It becomes something else completely when you do that.
Exactly.
It's like these people that are turning up with the camera in their horn and the sleeping bag, or the McDonald's, like that, help the homeless, make sure raise the awareness. It's like the guy's sitting kind of like, get that camera away from me, man.
It's like feeding time at the zoo, and that's what these people think.
Their intentions are written out of them, of course. What you do, I've been out with you, and I can attest you, make sure the people are comfortable before the camera comes anywhere near them.
Aye, thank you, John. It's one of the biggest things for me, to make sure they're comfortable, you know what I mean, as you said there. Aye, that works, you know what I mean. It's building up that trust and that relationship first, then doing that, you know what I mean, which is an amazing thing, man, you know what I mean, today. But that's who I'm becoming today, you know, just that man who wants to serve. You know, I've got a beautiful partner, man, and we're going to be having babies, you know.
Congratulations, mate.
And thank you, Jordan. And life's good, man, and it's happy. And there's a lot of work to still be done, you know, that there's a lot of acceptance that needs to happen within the streets as our platforms, you know. There's a lot of acceptance, because we're still a growing platform, eh? And for me, right now, you know, I want the streets to grow. You know, I want it to grow into the beautiful that it can become. And that means sharing out and opening up the door to the streets, you know, like you've volunteered your services yourself, you know what I mean? it's doing that, you know, bringing it into the community. As I see on camera, it's about building up community, you know. And we are a community, we're new media, we're like-minded, we work the same programme, you know, we care for the cause of the still suffering addict. And who better people to open your platforms to say, thank you for the offers of lending a hand, you are more than welcome. Why should we push that stuff away? Why should we say no to that help, you know? So I like to open my door and say, yes, please come and help, you know. But I'm not the only person at the streets, you know what I mean? So I just feel we need to, as a young platforms, we need to sit in acceptance that people don't want to come to take away or remove anyone. They just want to come and contribute, you know. As I'm a Glasgow boy, you know, and my recovery started in Glasgow. And, you know, when I talk to people, they say, wow, it's great, man, to see you doing the streets. Because I remember you were fucking 60 days clean sitting there going, I'm going to find myself a decent cameraman. I'm going to take this voice into that city centre and I am going to bring awareness. And you're only 60 days clean, we'd all be like, that's a flying proud of the big man, you know, that thrill, excitement you get, you know, when you're getting clean, you're on that beautiful cloud, man, and everything's great. Like that. So it was always there, and these boys remember that vision, and it's talking it, and we've had a boy out ways, man, and he's saying that, you know, he's like, you know what, man, he said, it's really great to see you the way I see you today. And so, you know, we talk about God jobs and things, in recovery. So when I've got all my plans like that, right, as you know, we Aldo, right, and I was following his journey. I met him in Radnor, and I was following his journey. Like AK Styles was doing advertisings for like small businesses and things, and I was looking at him, and I was looking at his wee camera work, and as I said, I'd met him. I thought, he's a nice wee guy, man, like that. So I done a tap table at Radnor, and I was sharing my experiences and that, And I think he just bought a camera. And he phoned us to say, Francis, you got homeless experience and all that like that. I was like, aye, mate. I says, then we got talking. He's like, let's go out. So the two of us went out into the town. And I've not got a clue about, you know, I'm daft when it comes to technology, you know, I really am. So it was just the things that we sat down, we discussed there, you know what I mean, very first day going out. And the way we built it up for there, you know what I mean, it's like, it's crucial for people to know, you know, like where the streets came from, you know, it came from a lot of pain, came from a lot of suffering. It came for the death of friends that died without a voice. It came for watching mothers come in and put flowers down for where their sons and daughters died, you know. Again, without a voice. The mothers coming to put the flowers down, no voice, you know. So it's important for everybody that's watching this podcast tonight, you know, to understand that, you know, like, for me, the streets can never be about money. It can never be about money. It can never be about love hearts or likes or anything like this. It always has to be about the service to others, you know. For me, because that's my heart, it's my experiences. The streets isn't just the streets to me, you know. It's a voice, it's a beacon, it's a flagship for anybody, you know, that wants to come and help that cause. You know, it's a community, as I says, man, and that community is a community of the still suffering addicts, man. You know, the people that get looked down most in society, you know, to build up such a thing like the streets, build into that community. And you know, I want to go in the direction of a charity. So one day there'll be a foundation of a charity there that will be able to help people in a bigger way, you know. But I just need every suffering addict out there to know that they are not alone. I can still suffer today. I know what it's like to suffer, you know, like that. And I have suffered in my life. And still I can be affected in my past today, just like we were talking about earlier. You know what I mean? I have lived experience in the world of suffering pain. So that's what the streets is about, first and foremost of all, for this man sitting here directly across from you. That's what it's about for me. It's about nothing else other than the service and the cause of the still suffering human being. And I just need it to always be that way. You know what I mean? I just need it to always be that way, and I just need everybody to understand tonight, you know, that when I share my heart, it's always with that foundation, that it's with love and care. If I'm sharing my heart with you, it's love and it's care. There's no other motives attached to it. It's just that for me. It's the way it is. It's Corinthians 13, love, man, in the Holy Bible of the Lord. And I love to share that. And I love to bring people into my life. And I've not got a headspace where I judge people or anything like that, you know. I've just got a calm, peaceful, loving headspace, and my hands are open to anybody, you know. And it's just that way I practice in my faith, and that's it, you know. I don't condemn, I don't judge. It's like, you want a chance, I'll give you a chance. You want to share in my hopes, my strengths, my experiences, my ideology, I'll share, you know, like that. And when I say the doors of the streets is opened, you know, they're opened like for men like yourself. It says, look, if I've got time, I'll come volunteer on and things like that. You're not there to take it away from me. You're not there to take it away from Aldo. You know, you're there to contribute and help a platform grow. We're like-minded, as I said, we work the same programme. The same as Kaylee's friend Pepsi, you know, he's willing to come on and do this as well, Jordan. And you know, I just need everybody at the streets to understand that, you know, like it's accepting that people are here to help grow and build up a community that will always be there as a flagship and a beacon and, you know, a horn to voice it. You know what I mean? The opinions of today, you know, the people that we interview and the people we talk to, you know, it's their voices are important. Somebody once says the research. I says, well, research to me, you know, I'm not going to spend hours in piles of documents and all that, you know, when I can just go straight to the source, which is the still suffering addict, you know. Because to me, that's the source. Nobody knows the suffering of an addict than the addict himself or herself. You know, there's nothing a book's going to tell me about addiction, but I couldn't tell myself or what a still suffering addict's going to tell me. So there's my research right there, asking the proper questions, the detailed questions. And as you say, you know, off camera doing all this as well, you know. It's like that, getting to that, what is it you want to say? You know, what do you feel? Because, you know, we've all got something to say when we're suffering, you know. There's something that we know, because I knew in my heart, man, like the friends I lost. I know in particular two of my friends that passed away, the amount of help they were crying out for, and they were told, boom, not back. And they're dead, you know what I mean? Because their voices weren't listened to properly, you know. They were just shoved away. Bit of paperwork in the filing cabinet. And my day in addiction in the tune, you know, that's all that was ever happening. That's all the loudness of the city centre at that time is sick of getting told I'm not a priority. What that one, you know, it's like, how did he get out of bed? You know, we're not talking about anybody, we're talking about Glasgow boys, arguing with other Glasgow boys. How did he get around for the night? No, he's not even fucking an addict, he's just come into the tune, you know. And it would always be the case, you know, like there was a lot in my day, a lot of still suffering addicts skippering, sleeping rough in the streets, you know, a lot of them, and there was a lot of people no getting help, then people that were playing the system, if you like, you know, like they're getting all the help, you know what I mean, and I always thought, how can you know, see the difference there to somebody that really needs help, to somebody that's playing you? Now, when we first started going out down the streets, Aldo would ask me, how do you know what one's sleeping rough to what one's no? And I went, well, pretty easy. What I'll do is the ones we'll help is the ones that's sitting there with all their gear. That's the ones that need a tent. That's the ones that need a sleeping bag. That's the ones that's needing hot food. That's the ones that's desperate and need accommodation. I said, so you walk through it and you've seen somebody sit there and all they're doing is sitting with their jacket on, they're sitting with a cup next to them. That's somebody that's got a room. You know what I mean? They can still get food. They can still get what they need, you know. But when we're getting people like the real rough sleeper who has to sleep in the cold at night, you know what I mean? It's like, that's how I differentiate, and it's always is the same, you know what I mean? Because I was one of the guys as a rough sleeper, had to have all my stuff with me, you know what I mean? You couldn't just leave your stuff, I had to have all my stuff with me. But when I wasn't a rough sleeper, I'd just be out, you know what I mean? That was it. I didn't have to have any stuff with me. So that's the way I can tell, you know, and obviously you just, there's always one, and you walk up, and I used to use it myself, they go, oh, what drugs are you into, big man? But I'm not into any drugs, mate, I just need a bed for the night, you know what I mean? And I remember this wee guy when we first started getting he's like, what was your poison then, mate? He's like, oh no, Francis, I'm just getting money for a bed for the night. And I started laughing because obviously I'm healing, so it's like, I'm like, that's alright, mate. I said, I'm a recovering addict, but man, I ain't just like you, no different. Nothing. Said we're exactly the same, and I started doing next to him. Then you know, you build up that connection, you know what I mean, straight away, because, you know, we can always tell when we look into the eyes of another addict, you know, we can always tell our tribe. And it's the same for everybody who's rough slept in the Glasgow city centre, you know what I mean? We can all tell, you know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing. So here's me, you know, like years since I've been on the streets, but I know how to talk to these guys, you know, and you sit down, man, you show that respect. You show them that you have been where they are, you know, and they feel that, and it's that respect straight away. Just to sit and talk, you know what I mean, and get to the bottom. And within 10 minutes, that guy went, it's kit, I'm into Francis. You know what I mean? So it's like, there you go, that trust is there.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And that's just a beautiful thing for me. So to be doing what I'm doing today, you know, trying my hardest and my best to build up platforms to aim towards the final thing, to actually become a charity. I don't want to be on a camera. I need to make that very clear. You know, I don't want to be on a camera for the foreseeable. I don't. I want to give somebody else that experience of what I'm having. You know what I mean? I want somebody else to enjoy that experience of hosting the streets, man. You know what I mean? And I say that in all truth. Sitting here, you know, it's like, I want somebody to have the experience I'm having. The same as I want them to have the experience Aldo's having. You know what I mean? I'm 100%, like, you know, it's like my life is going to get very busy soon. You know, I'm well aware of that. You know what I mean? But just because I stop doesn't mean the streets has to stop. That can still continue, because that's what we do when we've got love in our hearts for a cause, a serving the still suffering human being. We get cover. We don't stop because we stop. We need to continue going. The streets has to be that way. And eventually when we get to charity status, it's a 24/7 thing, because then we've got a charity, there's a large volunteer sector, there's things like that. That's what I want to aim towards, and I just want the streets just like-minded, equal, as I say on camera, shoulder to shoulder, eye to eye, equal as we can be, but serving the same cause, you know, and it's great to do that. And you know what I mean? Me and Aldo are a good team. We are a good team, and like any good team, there can be quarrels, there can be faults, you know, there can be accusations, there can be all these different kind of things, but the way I look at it is the streets is bigger than me. It's bigger than Aldo. You know, it's a thing that's watched by many people now. And just to keep that generating, just to keep that pushing forward, and I believe truly the way we do that is by accepting the offer of people who want to come and contribute time and help us to get that community grown and built up.
Yep. But a large part of what you're saying there, it's like, it's helping a still suffering addict in the street, and
Yeah.
you walk about Glasgow city centre, that's right in front of your eyes,
Yeah.
hardly invisible. I never thought to question that, see, like, who's the addict who's truly homeless, because you do, and a lot of them are quite honest about it.
Yeah.
They'll go up the tune to beg to make X amount, usually to get a charge.
Yeah.
It's usually their first port of call, go up, probably get a 10 or a score, whatever it is. But you'll notice the ones that are up there in the sleeping bag and have got all the stuff around them. And the other people, obviously, I've got sympathy for everybody in that situation, because regardless whether you've got a roof over your head at night, if your source of income is going up to the city centre with a Costa cup in front of you to get some money for the day, that's still a pretty poor situation.
Yes.
But when the likes of the nights, like recently, had really cold weather, you've got that rain, like people outside in that, and to even try to begin to fathom it, it's hard.
Yes.
Unless you've actually experienced it yourself.
Yeah.
And you have experienced it. But I want to understand how you eventually got there, because you talk about you've done your research, and there's different types of research. You say there's your academia, but your field of research is experience, and experience is the wisest but most harshest teacher of all.
Yes.
So one of the stories we were just speaking about there, where you essentially now get murdered when you're still a young boy.
Yeah.
And there was no rhyme or reason behind it, just you were just picked out for it.
None.
See, after that experience, what kind of behaviours did you develop? What did that do to you as a young boy?
Cut me up inside. Real cut me up inside, which led me to make one of the most disturbing, most horriblest decisions in my life, and that was making up a story to get myself took into a children's home.
So why was that your solution?
I just couldn't breathe within myself.
So was it an attempt to escape?
It was, yes, it was constant in my head what's going to happen tonight, especially after the kidnapping thing. And I wasn't the kind of person, wasn't the kind of child that went greeting to my mum or dad, though I'm feeling this way. So I dealt with these feelings, you know, like
internalised it,
brave face, all that. So even with my bullies, even if I suffered the most harshest of kickings, I wouldn't go home and my mum and dad see it, because I was always, this might sound mad, I was always in fear of my bullies getting hurted off my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like protecting them in a way, and protecting my dad as well. Like, getting, it's mental, man. It's like, I'll get these people hurted.
Do you think it's as well, I hope you don't mind me saying, see people that get bullied and picked on, a lot of the reason why they don't take any action, because somewhere, and it's no saying that it's true, but there's some feeling there that it's almost as if they deserve it. Not so much they deserve to get bullied, but can you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a part of them that feels as if they're to blame, almost.
I could see, because I remember my mate says to his man, it's your own fault, you keep going up there. And I was like, aye, why do I keep going up there? So now we found out about addiction, so I kept on going there because the hash was on constant flow. Hash pipes, joints. We didn't have hash pipes and joints down at the wee mob, but it was all up there at the big mob. So I truly believe, know that I loved nothing better than to smoke joints and suck out hash pipes, man. You know what I mean? It was great when I was a wee guy. And I suppose in a way, it's like when I was saying that, I said, but I suppose it could have been my fault, Like I kept on going back there.
I wasn't suggesting it was your fault, but that might have been a feeling. Some people feel that way, and when they do, they don't take any action because they believe that they deserve it. I'm not saying that was
I don't
you should have felt.
I done my step 4 and 5, and we're looking at it right, and it's like, where were you to blame and all that? And I was trying to suss out, I was out to blame, and I'm not seeing it. And I remember I was sitting in fear, because it was my first time. I said to my sponsor, listen, man, I'm just not seeing where I'm to blame here. And he's like, right, square, and he's like, fuck, you're not to blame anywhere. You're a Wayne. You know what I mean? There's no blame. So the only blame I can find in my head is I'm at to blame for kept on going back for the hash pipes.
Aye, there's that in some instances, especially when we did a step 4, there are some instances where right, you weren't at fault here, but something did happen. But if we look at our actions, it's looking at their actions that contributed to that. But the reason why I was asking that question was just some people, they feel, no saying that it is deserved, but they think, all right, I must deserve this.
Aye.
No saying there is a reason, but that's why there's inaction.
Yeah.
But in order to escape this, you say you manufactured this story about your parent, and to get put in a children's home, and that happened, you get put in a children's home.
Yeah.
When that happened, was that the outcome you really wanted when you eventually got it?
No. As soon as I walked in there, it was death, man. I'd sentenced myself to, it was like, where's my mum, where's my dad, what have I done? Done this terrible deed, that's what I done, you know, to get myself put in there. Instantly missing my parents, missing my brothers, missing my sister, just missing that family feel. Then I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I started to think there's no mum, dad here, there's no family else, so I'm starting to think stinking now. My head's starting to convince me this is great. I'm trying in my secondary school, and that, I mean, sitting outside my secondary school, man, smoking dope, buzzing gas, just no fucking life starting to go down.
So the using started escalating?
I'd never buzzed gas or sniffed glue or anything like that before, you know what I mean? It was only just, as I said, the hash pipes and joints.
Was that due to the peer group in the home?
Aye, I'd say so. There was this older guy here, who'd always been on the gas there, and me and my wee mate Don, like that, sitting and excuse I try that. Always remember, the mad echoey feeling you go, I loved that with gas, and that was me. But gas never took off. Gas was like short-lived. That was short-lived. So was glue short-lived. Because it wasn't long till I ran away for the children's home. I was only in the children's home like a couple of years. Then I bolted. And once I ended up in Glasgow city centre, it wasn't so long until I tried my first taste of heroin.
Right, okay, so when you left the care system, that's when you first essentially entered into the streets?
Yes.
Why did you bolt for the care home?
No anything that I'd want to get into on camera on that.
Right, okay, that's understandable.
It's like, but it was a lot of harsh stuff. No, like one story I'll tell you, I remember me and my mate getting into a fight. And I've took my mate out of the room, but I'm still, I'm away and I'm getting, starting to lose control of my life. And I kicked one of the staff, and then 4 of them came in, man, and when you get carted in the jail, you know what I mean? It's like that, but there can't be it. It's the big Victorian like light switches and all that, the socket hangs,
Right.
And they're trying to get my fingers in there, fucking kick me out, and I'm freaking right out here, man. Thinking these cunts are trying to kill me, man. It was really, really frightening, especially for where my life was. You know what I mean? What the fuck, these cunts trying to date me? So that night I started devising my escape plan. I ain't fucking staying here, man. And then things escalated and got worse as well. So the night came, I escaped, and me and my wee mate Don, we've made up an escape plan. Right, I'll come for you. And he was up us there. I was a year older than him, so he was up us there, I was doing us there. So I devised a mad plan. Right, get yourself ready. And that night I've climbed up this pole, but I didn't know the children's zone, and just got security shit in to see the big daft rolly spiky things.
A barbed wire?
Aye, like you're going up the poles. I didn't even notice that. There's this grease, and I've climbed up this pole hundreds of times, and that, I mean, and it just wasn't there. So I went up and my fucking foot slipped and I started sliding down the pole and I just felt it. I think I've still got a wee daft white thing there. And it came down, I just felt it pressing against me. It was a big spike. So I nearly killed myself escaping from that children's home. Going up to get Don. Who fucking who forgot to fucking tell us and that. I mean, he'd been moved into another room. So I went into this other room. And there's this other cunt in the bed. I'm like, cunt in the bed, right? Oh, I don't get up. You know, he started screaming on me, man. What the fuck? That right back at the window, man. But aye, that was, even though it was a sadness, I was escaping for brutality, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that was like the last last wee giggle, and I never seen Don again.
Did you know you find him? No.
Never again in
Is
my
that the
life.
last you've ever seen him?
Last time I ever seen him, aye.
Yeah,
Like that, man. So that was quite. No, it was quite a laugh. No, like once you got away in there, man, mad cunt screaming and that was that but I mean, it's like aye, but I think it'll be safe anyway.
Fingers crossed, that's.
Probably watch me and that walks out, Frankie.
Aye, make sure you comment, Don.
Aye,
let us know where you ended up.
Yeah, so it's like mental, man, heading into the city centre.
Why did you head there? Was that part of your plan, or were you just heading for the first place you could stop?
That wasn't part of my plan at all, cause it was Ibrox.
Right.
And there was this other children's home, you know, it was, I'd be guessing it was at Garfield or something, it was in Port Shaw's, but it was like older people. So I remember sneaking into the town a few times, and I was like, aye, this is a good place, man, you know what I mean? Fucking everybody's drinking, smoking dope, everything was good. So when I ran away, I just thought, aye, I'll go there. You know what I mean? Like that. I spent a Saturday in there sneaking in with older man, whatever. So I ran there, and that's when life in the children's home was like skirting down, but it soon went douche, just took a big drop, and my wee feet landed in Glasgow city centre, man.
How long did that take?
Oh, how long?
By the time you hit Glasgow city centre and your life hit the downward spiral, what was the transition period?
It was less than 7 days, man.
Less than a week?
Aye.
So see, at this point though, see you went into the town, so were you sleeping rough?
Aye, I was a runaway, aye.
So were you aware at that point that you were actually homeless?
No.
Or did you still feel as if you had a home to go to?
Right, so for me, it was like after the betrayal to my family, I felt I couldn't go back there. I tuned in with boys my age who were also running away for something, you know, so it was like quickly became a wee band of brothers, if you like, you know what I mean? So the tune did become home. It became home pretty fast. I was just a wee teenager, you know what I mean? And I'd been living without my family for a while now. And as I say, the fear I could never go back is there. I came off a loving, beautiful family, Jordan, eh? Dad worked every hour God sent. And I betrayed my family, you know what I mean? But when I think about the reasons, I can't justify them. I betrayed them, and that's all that is, you know what I mean? I could have talked to my mum about getting bullied. I could have talked to my dad about getting bullied. I never, you know what I mean? I never. So I betrayed them, and I've got no real reason to why, because I could have talked to them, and the only reason I know is the reason that I just couldn't stay in that scheme anymore, that area. Is that a good enough reason, I ask myself at times, because the parent I betrayed was my dad, and my dad was one of the most beautifulest kind man I've ever known. I can say to myself, if I never done what I done, I would have done myself in. You know, I attempted it before by putting a belt around my neck. Pre-children's home. So if I never removed myself by the means I did, I would have been dead as a wee scared, lost, frightened boy, man, who was protecting people that were hurting them by no speaking to my parents. And I suppose in many ways that quality's still in me, because I was saying to you, I can be a people pleaser, and I'm always thinking, oh, if I say that, I might hurt this person's feelings, man. And that's the way I've always been, you know what I mean? And it's mental. I think it's a bit of a character defect, you know what I mean, to be truthful. And I'm not as much of a people pleaser as I was. No, I'm working on it. But aye, that's who I can be. You know what I mean? It's like that. And but the dad thing, the children's home thing, man, that was. Some people say that could have been avoided. No, fast forward, no sitting down talking to people. They say, you should have just told us. No, but at that point in time, man, I was wanted to go. You know what I mean? And my head was mental. You know, it's like that, man. You know, it's like, don't tell your parents. They'll get hurt. It'll cause us. You'll be the cause of everything, you know. And I remember that night I came up with this. I was in the Curry Hall. Don't know if you know the Curry Hall on Calf Hall.
What is it?
It was just a place you went at night. No, it was like big community centre.
Right, okay, no.
Up the top of Calf Hall, just up for Line Cross Shops. And it was in there, 7:30. And a Tuesday night. And I remember, man, we were watching a play. It was all Wayne's, I think it was a play or something we were watching. They had done different activities. And I remember thinking, and Masty was there. Me, Derek Cave, you're watching. But anyway, he was sitting there. He was in a children's home. And I just thought, man, and that's where this came from. This idea. Like, how could I get myself put into a home? And that's fucking a sad state of affairs for a wee 12-year-old boy sitting, thinking, how can I escape? You know what I mean? 'Cause I was truly locked within myself, man. You know, I was a timid, shy, non-violent wee boy growing up in a rough neighbourhood, man. And that was the best thing that I could come up with. And that decision ruined my whole life. It ruined my family life. It ruined my life. Everything. You know, it hurt a lot of people, that decision. But I didn't think about it. Because I was in fear. And I was full of self, even though I didn't recognise these emotions then, you know. Telling me that it'll be alright to make this decision and do these things. Like that. Do I regret that decision? If somebody says, what's the most thing you regret most in your life? And I'll say, betraying my family, man. You know, like, doing that act set my life in a course that will never be changed. You know, the only thing I can do is no be the person the day that course brought me to, you know. And that's the only thing I can do today, you know, show power against these emotions of fear, self-pity, all of these horrible emotions, you know, that I didn't recognise as a small child, but as a man, I recognise them today. I'm better equipped to see them, to chase them, to get them out. And I can see that wee boy suffering with all these emotions in his head, just frightened and lost, just trying to make sense. And I definitely listened to my head as that small child, you know what I mean? I listened to my head because I didn't know any different. You know, I listened to him and said, you'll be better off, this will be good. All of that stuff. The same he'd I listened to when I put the belt room in it. You know what I mean? So, that's where my life was, that's where my life went, and again, that's why I sit here directly close for you doing this, man, because for me, that child is still here. No, that child's still here. And I remember, I'm sitting praying, and I pray to the Lord Jesus Christ. I pray to no other day to our idol. Jesus Christ, it is my power and my strength today, Jordan, And I'm praying and praying to the Lord, man. And that's the strength. I remember praying, and it's like coming back. Good men are coming to you, and you're going to good men. Things like that, you know. Like hearing that back, and I'm thinking, where's that coming from? But the day I know where that was, that's the Lord telling me that things are going to be good men are coming into your life, you're going to go into good men's lives, and I can see that's happening today. For me, my life can only go in one direction today, as I was saying to you earlier on, like, but would anything ever take me back to heroin addiction? Would anything ever take me back to sitting with a 1 mil syringe hanging at my arm? And I can look clearly in your eyes today and say, no, nothing will ever take me back to that life that I've escaped for and healed for. And it's all part of nourishing the inner child. You know, I'm praying to Jesus Christ that I'm in this flat, a broken man, and it's coming back to me. Take the inner child, grow it within the adult body, you know, let that inner child heal within you. And I remember when I went to meetings, and I shared this for the body of the hall. I said, the great feelings I got. And this guy approached me after a meeting. They went, Buddhism's great, isn't it, big man? And I went, what? And they went, Buddhism, it's great. See, you practice it well, the inner child stuff and all that. And I went, no, mate, you picked me up wrong. I'm not into false idols or Buddhism or anything. I said, I'm into the Lord Jesus Christ, you know. And I said, this is who I'm praying, this is who I'm talking about, with the inner child stuff. It's him that told me to take the inner child and nourish it in. Mm-hmm. They went, no, that's definitely Buddhism, mate. I went, oh, well, I says, it's Buddhism for you. It's my Lord for me.
I think it's just religion's just an interpretation of it, because if inner child stuff, you don't even need to be religious to practice that.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all just wounded children inside.
Yes, you know what I mean? In religion, for me, anybody that knows me will say Francis doesn't follow a certain religion. Francis follows the same religion that Jesus Christ was originally sent to earth for, and that was the service unto others. You know, that was religion to Jesus Christ. It tells us in the Bible, man, religion to Jesus Christ was helping others, going and visiting the sick children, the orphans, the sick people. You know what I mean? That was religion to Jesus. So that's the way I like to do it, you know what I mean? Because there's too many people I've talked to go, I don't believe in Jesus. And you go, why? And they go, because I was born Catholic. You know, but Jesus wasn't a Catholic. I says, no, Jesus was just Jesus, man. You know, he was sent here by a mission for the father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he completed that mission. It's like we all live in this. I mean, my experiences with church, going to a church and standing in a church and standing with a wee cup of tea in this church, and this guy comes up after the service like, I see you're standing yourself, hello. My name's such and such. I went, my name's Francis. I went, yeah, Francis, what is it you do today in life? And I went, well, I'm a broken addict, man, just seeking the Lord Jesus Christ. And they looked at me and they went, oh, that's great. And they walked away from me, and he walked out to all the other suits and went, oh, he's just one of them, never mind him.
That was it?
Aye, word for word, man.
One of them?
Yes, and I thought, one of them who Jesus Christ was to manifest within this church, you know, I'm the first one he would come to. Because Jesus served the broken. You know, he didn't serve the people that were healed and had everything in life and the rich and the famous and all that. Jesus was for the broken, the people who needed saving. That's where Jesus was always found. He was never found in big mansions and that, I mean, drinking out the best cups and drinking the best wines. He wasn't. Even though he loved these people as well, the message of the Father was for everybody. Like that. So when I heard these people saying that, I was like, this is not a church for me. You know what I mean? And I've found a great wee church today. You know what I mean? The Phoenix. And it's my sponsor, you know what I mean? It's introduced us to that church, and there's boys going to that church, group members, I mean, going to that church, and I was talking to one just last weekend. He's like, oh, wow, I love this church, man. He's like, I never thought this and that, but coming here is opening my eyes. I mean, exactly. I said, it's a great way to get to know the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's at the Phoenix in Dumbarton, you know what I mean? 10 o'clock service, man, a Sunday. It's a beautiful, beautiful wee place. You know, it's just a wee community centre building, but there is no judgment. There's nothing. There's just love and honour to our Lord Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's really lovely.
Yeah, because you get people, you're talking about like that experience in the first church where people will wear it like it's like a class thing, where there's us and there's them, whereas if it's true religion, it's appeals to, it includes everybody. I remember a guy in recovery says to me, I'll not use the definition he used just for the purposes of camera, but he says he's like, it's simply to what you said, he's like, if Jesus was alive today, wouldn't he be kicking about big mansions, big houses? He'd be in the bars with all the addicts. That's where he'd be.
Exactly.
He'd be where they're suffering.
Yes. That is exactly where it'd be. That's 100%. I mean, that's exactly where it'd be. You know what I mean? And everybody thinks, I don't believe in it. What's there not to believe in? You know, it's like, I'm taught I can't force my beliefs on anybody. Can I? It's not permitted. It's not allowed. You know what I mean? For me to go and force my beliefs. How I came to know Jesus Christ, I can't put that onto someone and go, come you believe, because look, what I can do is by testimony, testifying to the power of Jesus Christ saving this man, that's a wretched, dark, evil beast of a man, you know, that the Lord Jesus Christ picked up broken from the ground. And now I'm sitting here in Jordan's flat talking. You know, that's all my strength goes to, you know, as I said earlier, I don't take any credit for me. You know, it's all through the will and the glory, the grace and mercy of the Lord. And I love that today. And I love knowing that today, because I know who I was praying to save me. And I know I'm saved today, sitting here across for you. If I still got things to work on in my life, yes, I can be dishonest, you know. I can want to buy the best of trainers, you know what I mean? I want to go to the gym and have a six-pack and big arms, you know. But I know these things are wrong, you know. I know these things are just of this world, you know. So I've still got things to work on, you know what I mean? First of all, I am a sinner, you know. It's like, it's all you used to preach, you know, and the first thing he would say is, look, I'm here to tell you about the name of Jesus Christ, but I am the worst sinner of you all. And that's the way I like to enter it. Now, if I'm talking about the law, I like to say, like, I'm not sitting in self-righteousness here, because I can still F up. And at times I can F up small, and I can F up big. Yep. You know, so I never sit in self-righteousness, man, ever.
That's see, when you say that as well, see, because in the words you use that I'm a sinner, and the biggest sinner of all, because when you use that language, I think people disassociate with it because it's so close to the Bible. But when you look at the likes of relatability, I always talk about the power of relatability, because people see themselves in you. What people love about like yourself as well with the streets is I spoke about it earlier. Let's say you talk about other people coming out and do it, and I'm like if you got some like university educated journalist that's getting the experience of addiction, homelessness to come in and replace you, it wouldn't be the same. It's the fact that if you've been there, it's the raw reality, the grittiness. And for instance, when you done in one of your videos, you were talking about Brick Dust Lane, you were able to say, look, this is Brick Dust Lane, this is the reason why, because they take the brick dust and they sell it as tenner bags. Like, you know that because you've experienced it. You're no some Ross Kemp or Martin Kemp type character that's going, this is Brick Dust Line, and it's this pure dramatic. You're like, this is the reality of the situation, and that's what people connect with. So see, if we go back to when you first encountered the streets of the city centre, within a week you started using heroin. And you say your life essentially plummeted. In what way did it plummet? What happened?
Right, so I like to say in this way, right, now some people say, it plummeted, like, so it messed up. It messed up, but I'm full of heroin now, and my head's telling us, this is the bee's knees, you know what I mean? Like that. So when I'm sitting there, I remember, like as I said, I was never a violent wee guy or anything. But my first taste of heroin and then getting used to it, you know, and things like that. And I remember this guy tried to take, and I jumped up like an animal. Like, whoa, you know, and it's I've got courage here in the voice. It's like that. And dealing with that situation and sitting back down in the heat and the heat going, and that means, this is the business, that stuff. So then there's another wee trap door open for you to walk down the stairs even deeper now. So it's like, aye. Then you're getting that ego, like, I'm the man, sitting burning away, you know what I mean? So aye, for that, then life. I remember my first weekender. That was also my first heavy rattle.
Right.
And it was horrible, man. I did not know what was wrong with me, man. I was like, fuck, man, what's going on here? Body's aching, sweating. Oh, coming out of both ends, man, you know. And I remember that the screw came, man. I'm like that here, man. I'm dying in here. He's like that. You're on the gear, aren't you? And I went, the gear? What you talking about, the gear? He's like that. You're on the heroin and that. It's like that. Yes, I'm going to be feeling like this, but taking that. He's like, I'm still thinking like fucking hash and all that, you know. Then he started telling us, he's like, no, it's addictive and all that, that's heroin you're smoking, man. And he the cop with his due, man. He did that. I mean, he checked on me regular, and he did take time out to tell me about what was happening.
So did you not know you were smoking heroin?
No, I'm just thinking at first it was this older guy that got me in. He's like, it was hash oil, all that, he's saying.
So he told you it was hash, that's how you started, so you didn't know you were taking heroin?
No, that's hash oil, you know what I mean, like that, and we're smoking it and that, I mean, then just as time went on, it's like that, you know. It's heroin and that, but still you don't know you're going to be rattling.
You just think it's another name back then. What period was this? Like the 90s?
This is the 90s.
So back then nobody really knew what it was?
No, but at the end of the day, it's like, I'm sure this guy knew these wee cunts are going to rattle, you know what I mean? We were wee guys, we were doing turns constantly, so, you know, I just like to think about it today as like the guy tried to take for me, for instance, when I thought, I found my voice and all that, you know, and jumped up like that. He was one of the older guys, you know what I mean? And I think these guys just thought, get these wee cunts habited up and just use the fucking life out of them. Because that happened a lot in the Glasgow city centre, you know what I mean?
Right, okay.
A lot of runaways getting used and fucking just habited up there and sent out. So I think for what happened to me, getting to jail and experiencing that weekend and experiencing fucking heavy rattles, because even though before and the weekend, now we do know it's been heroin been smoking, but we still don't know the effects and we've no got it. So that was my first fucking rattle, man, and it was horrible, man. Still didn't stop me for taking it, and I was heavy warranted up and also had warrants for Glasgow and I had warrants for Paisley. It was like, I think it was 6 days or something as in the police cells for, man. Just getting took to court, oh, it's murder. So I remember getting out and I fucking had a gyro. So I had a day, and I remember, man, like getting bail for Paisley Sheriff, and I was like, oh, fucking last warrant, they warrants, nothing that comes in, you've got a gyro. I go straight for the gyro after promising. That's that, I'll never fucking touch that shit again, man. That was sore as fuck. As soon as I cashed my gyro, man, right back on it. Know what I mean? So, no lessons learned, you know what I mean? No lessons learned right up till his 45.
Aye,
man,
he'll be different this time, innit?
Aye.
So see, was there any instances that revealed the reality of your situation whilst you were on the streets in Glasgow?
It changed it. Like, changed my reality.
No, was there any instances, were there any like situations that like happened where you were like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Was there any point you were like, right, this place is rough? Was there any kind of scenarios that occurred where it kind of reminded you of like the severity of living on the streets?
My mate jumped off a bridge.
Jumped off a bridge?
Aye, just like, no, and nobody seen it. No, like sometimes people can say, oh, I seen that coming. Or you know, I had a talk to him about that. Nothing. Just all wee guys, man. We're again just all having a laugh, man. Walking there to the bridge at Central Station as you're coming in the bus.
Is it the one that takes you into Hope Street?
Aye, Hope Street, aye. Right. So we're walking out of the town, going across it.
Towards Tradeston.
And he just fucking jumped up and went right there, man. Like that. And they like first we were like, oh, mad cunt, no thanks. He just jumped and...
Well, is it a laugh or something?
Yeah. But no, man, dead, you know what I mean?
Kill himself,
aye, just took his own
Was
life,
he mad with
man.
it?
Aye, but still.
But it's like,
nae,
mad with or sober, it's still a crazy thing to do.
Aye, like, he was way of us, so we just automatically assumed mad bastards just jumped there, no, like, for a laugh. Just dead, but no, it wasn't. It was like, he jumped meaning it. Nah, man, it was like, that was the saddest thing, because I remember going into fear then, thinking, fuck, where was he to do that, you know what I mean? What was his he'd think? What, he's doing the same things as we're doing, is that going to happen to me? Am I going to be walking just all these wee guy thoughts, you know? But aye, man, it's like, seen a lot of that, you know what I mean? Like boys doing themselves in, throwing themselves in the Clyde, like, a lot of death, you know what I mean? Just like what I was saying, watching my friends die in the streets, man, it's like having to watch their parents lay flowers down for them and things like that, like I was saying earlier. All these things have contributed to the streets being born, you know what I mean? All of them. It's all lived pain, you know what I mean? And that's what this heart beats for. It beats to the sound, man, the others, you know. It beats for love and care in them, you know what I mean? It really does, Jordan, man. And you know what? See if I can help. Like my friend Eddie, go to his house, doing brilliant. Moved into his house, found deed in his house, volume use. See if I can save one Eddie. Then I'm doing something right, you know. At the end of the day, man, because this is personal to me. Very personal to me. I will never, ever let go of the streets. The streets belongs to this heart, and it belongs to the people. And it belongs to every man and woman who wants to contribute and building it up. It's much bigger than me. It's much bigger than anybody. You know what I mean? It's just want it to be a functioning, breathing machine for others. No other cause at all. Just the cause of others, the still suffering human being, you know. And we collaborated there, the streets, with Colin McGowan's, I was telling you, for the Blameless charity. I don't know if you've heard of the Blameless charity. No. It's a children's charity.
Right, okay.
And go together as well. And I hope I've got it right this time, Gary. So, I don't know if you've seen the YouTube Needle City.
I don't think I have, no.
And we're saying we need people in here to clean up Glasgow and things like that, you know, volunteers and things. So Colin McGowan for the Blameless charity got in touch, and we done a video with him Saturday. We were cleaning up. You know, it's the action and the voice you see on the camera. Now this is the action. Someone's saying, let's get this cleaned up. We can clean it up. Then we done a follow-up Sunday there, and everybody's out helping and contributing to clean up the carton, pick up all the needles, and a few hundred needles there, Jordan, you know what I mean?
On the carton, did you say?
Aye, man.
Whereabouts?
Just where the Belgrove Hotel is.
Right, okay. Is that a result of that being a hostel, why there's so many needles lying about there?
Yes, aye.
Right, okay.
So we done that, man, and I'll tell you now, it's an eye-opener. Then we're doing it at this wedding venue at the St. Luke's, next to the bars, and man, you know, I was surprised. I was like, the amount of paraphernalia there as well, and this is like right outside people's houses. So you had all us there, just like that, right? So here's what we're doing. This is what the streets is pointed out, and now this is what we're doing here, you know. And I was talking to you about Colin earlier.
Aye.
Like he's a cool guy, man.
And see what you mentioned as well, see the likes of Belgrove Hotel and St. Luke's, you're saying there's a lot of paraphernalia lying about there. But what I find no funny as such, but it's ironic that you're finding all that paraphernalia so close to that harm reduction unit. So why is what purpose is that serving if people are still shooting up in the corner?
Exactly. Then it takes a man, you know, a pensioner. No, I was talking to him earlier today, he's like that, you know, like he's a pensioner, Jordan, and he's in his 70s, and he's out on a Sunday picking needles up, man. You know what I mean? And I'm next to Colin, and you could hear his back, man, and you can see it in his face. But this guy's trudging on through there because his passion, his heart is helping these communities get clean. You know, and I really do believe that we're going to go on to do some great things, you know. The streets blameless and go together, you know, and come together, as I says, as that community of like-minded people who want to serve their communities and see a better way of living within their communities, you know. So I'm really looking forward to it all, man, and it's a great thing to do, man, to do your life. 100%.
Fantastic. Definitely. Being able to give back and, as you say, help the people that you're once a part. And I say once a part of, you're still a part of it.
Yes.
They are still your people, but you're in
Yeah.
a position where you can help and you can use your experience to serve people.
Yeah.
Is that waste of space becoming a waste of space? Is your rubbish lying about like your dad with a hangover? Do you pride yourself on the fact you live in a do hut instead of a don't hut? Has your partner insisted that you better get it shifted? And you can shift the dairy to Shift It Removals, covering Glasgow and the surrounding areas, dealing with waste uplifts, garden, yard and void clearouts, bulk uplifts, and pretty much any sort of waste removals. To get in touch, contact by email at shiftit@gmail.com or phone them at 07355 072 158. If the scrappy can't scrap it, the Clenny can't bin it, and the council won't tip it, then you better phone Shift It. Yeehaw! Enjoy the podcast, people.
What's something you experienced in the street that you think the average person wouldn't believe actually happens?
Well, the worst thing, right? So people getting out of nightclubs and that, right? They're mad with it. So homeless people in the streets are a big target for it. We've got all the likely lads out all mad with it, boisterous, you know, paying people to burn themselves, paying people to do circus tricks, drink piss, lick shite.
Really? Does that go on?
Really, yeah. Dance about naked like a dancing bear. Putting cigarettes in between people's toes and that, and seeing how long the person can stay there while it burns down. There's a lot of nasty, nasty things that happen in the streets of Glasgow on a Friday and Saturday night, Jordan. People getting their sleeping bags burnt. You know, my big mate, I went down for him, man. His face is red raw, man. Guy's in pain. Set his sleeping bag on fire, man. You know what I mean? This happened at 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? About and poured petrol in his sleeping bag and set it
Did you
on
went and
fire.
get petrol to pour at him?
Aye. My mate could have died. You know what I mean? In his face now, like when the heat's out, you know, his skin's off, man. His face is red raw. He's in pain. But we're addicts. So he's getting through that pain and having to go and get a charge and all that. And, you know, most addicts don't go to hospital. So he's cutting about with a burn in his face, you know what I mean? Face red raw. He's no want to go to hospital. Too many questions. All of that stuff. So the chances of infections and all that, you know, it's rife. So I was like, we were talking to a boy, Danny, a few weeks ago, you know, and you could smell the poison off his leg, man. It's went green. And this guy goes and gets a prescription for a service as well. And I can smell this leg in the middle of Glasgow city centre. I'm thinking, how can the nurses that he goes to, the Hunter Street where he goes to get his script, how can the people up there no smell that leg? Know what I mean? Dress it, tidy it. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of suffering that goes on in the two and I feel, and I feel as well to provide a service. Now the streets being a charity, people like Danny, people like my mate had the burn in his face. These people, you know, the streets has got a wee charity and a wee hub in the tune. These people know they can just come in there and they'll get what they need. You know what I mean? They'll get the support they need to take them up to the doctors to get that dressing seen to. It's about a lot of trust for a lot of homeless addicts in the Glasgow city centre. It's about trust. It's about, I know I can go and see Big Francis at the hub, man, and sit down and talk to him. I know he's not going to judge me. I know he's going to go above and beyond to help me. But if I go to that service, man, they're wanting to ask me all sorts of personal mad questions. Big Francis at the streets at the street hub, He just wants to take me, get me sorted. He doesn't want to bombard me with questions or write down in bits of paper.
Nah, just concerned about their welfare.
Exactly.
That's it.
You
So
know
it
what I
is.
mean? Just want to put them onto the proper services, the hospital to get their wounds dressed, you know, to get burn creams on, things like that, man. It's just the simple things, man. You know what I mean? The simple things that the still suffering human being needs in Glasgow city centre is which the streets will deliver. You know, when we get to that place where we're a founded charity, you know what I mean? And it's these things that matter. You know what I mean? It's like, there's too many services going about want to put people on meth scripts, want to put people on to Bruvadal jags, want to do all this, you know. But there's nobody sitting down the still suffering addict and asking what they want. Nobody asked me what I wanted when we're shoving meth scripts down my throat, you know. It just take this. It's all advice, man, you know what I mean? So my aim is just to do that bit different, you know what I mean? It's, what do you need? Kaylee says something very important. You know, we've done the hospital visits, and she says this wee one guy in particular, he's having a wee tough time, you know. Sitting down having a wee Empire biscuit and a wee coffee, and Kaylee quite simply just says, look, what makes you happy? You pick 5 things that makes you happy. You know what I mean? Don't let anybody take them. Well, at the end of that conversation, that wee guy was happy. He was good, and he's like, 5 things, man. I never even thought of that, man. You know, and now that wee guy's happy and he's doing well. You know, and he's at the hospital now. He's at the dry unit, and that's all glory to God. I feel it's all beautiful, that. And I wish I could document that stuff. I wish I could video that stuff, but my heart, my faith will not permit me to. I always feel we need to protect the most vulnerable. And the most vulnerable to me is somebody that's in a dry unit in a hospital. No, as I said earlier, someone says, oh man, you should video that stuff. Man, you can't go and visit somebody in a hospital in their house and go, all right, want to do an interview, mate?
No.
You know, it's careless. It's no tactical.
No,
You
definitely
know what I
not.
mean? It's no.
It's no about the message as well. As I think what people see, you're raising awareness with the streets, and people, no harm to them. Some people just think, right, that's a good opportunity to show the work you're doing, but as well, the thing is, the work you're doing, a lot of it, not for the fact that can go on camera, it's the people.
Yes.
The people need to give their express permission. If somebody's reaching out to you because they've seen the work you're doing,
Yeah.
or somebody that's in a desperate position,
And
desperate people don't want to have cameras put in their face.
No, they do not. And some of the people that we have visited are younger as well. So, 2 blasting a boy, they still stay with them on that.
Really? So how young was that?
So it's all right, 18 and 19.
Really? So they've reached out
Yeah.
for support, right?
Which,
Okay.
Jordan, you'd be surprised with the young people. It's been reaching out, man. It's really amazing, you know what I mean? There's a lot of young people.
So-
I'll tell our youngest viewer, 10-year-old,
Really?
walking through the town with his dad. And you can see him, he's like that, and his dad's like, oh, big man, love what you do at the streets and that, boom, boom, boom. And the wee boy's done there, I was like, you just joked the game, it was Christmas time. His dad went, you're joking, he's your biggest fan in our family, man.
Oh, that's brilliant, man.
10-year-old, you know what I mean? I was like that, then walking through the town, this young couple approached me. I would say no older than 21, and he comes up and he goes, big man, Francis. Well, he's like that here, and they gave me £40. He's like, I just want to give you something, man, get the boys something nice to eat and all that. And I was shocked at that. We've got a young following, and it's really good, man, you know what I mean? And it's good to have it.
So see when you say like to a class in about 18, 19, they reached out to you, were they reaching out to support you, or were they reaching out looking for help?
No, they were just reaching out basically to somebody to talk to. So some of the messages you get is people looking for meetings, I'm struggling, things like that.
Right.
So it's just responding to that we care. You know what I mean? It's like, what can I do for you? Where do you live? I always ask where you live first. You know what I mean? So I've got it in my head, if you're living in Glasgow, I can tell you what meeting's on. No, things like that. So it's always, where do you live first? And that way you can sort of get a plan in your head, right? Well, I can start with taking you to a meeting, then we can work for there. You know what I mean? So I basically am reaching out just for a bit of help, somebody to talk to. the last boy we visited in the hospital, that boy our carer was saying about the 5 things that make you happy and all that.
No.
I mean, I think he got out of the hospital 48 hours later, but that wee guy, he was in a bit of a bad place when we turned up to the hospital, but we sat down, we had our coffee, we had our Empire biscuits, and we had a chat. And at the end of that visit, that wee guy was outside with me having a cigarette, on the phone to his wee bird, all happy. You can tell she was happy, he was happy. And I went up and I met his nurses. And everything was good. Just fine, rewarding, humbling, empowering. Just to see that wee boy who had the sad eyes when we walked in, but as we're leaving and saying cheerio, his eyes are lit up and he's lively. Aye, know what I mean? So that's the greatness, you know, about doing what I do.
That's the thing is as well, see, especially with finding with people in the street, it's something as simple as a conversation can go a long way because it makes people feel human. They're not seen as that.
Yes.
Because you see it, a few times when I'm talking to people that's on the street, you see the way people look at them.
Yeah.
It's like as if it's like scumming their shoe, and it's like they don't treat them as if they're human. You know a lot more than me because you've been in that position, but
100%.
the odd times I've done it, and I'm like, Jesus, this is really, really obvious. I didn't really think, and as you say, people are getting sleeping bags set on fire. I'm up Buchanan Street, busy day, so not really much of that is going to go on at that time of day, but it just goes to show you kind of what stuff's going on at night.
Aye, exactly. At night, man, the town turns into hell for the homeless, still suffering addict. You know what I mean? There's so much going on, and no disrespect, but with our country, Scotland, filling up, it's getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting worse, and it will continue to get worse. As to what we were getting told, I was talking to a boy the other night, and what he was talking about, he was going to get his drugs. He's like, no, it's all right, I get tick. And I was like, you get tick? He said, a crack dealer ticks me. I thought, I've never heard of a crack dealer fucking ticking in the tune. But that's how bad it's got. So there's people getting put into all sorts of debt. Can't pay the debt. You're doing this to pay your debt off. That's always happened in Glasgow city centre. But now the game's upped, you know, because there's a different gang on the streets today. You know what I mean? And they're wilder. They're more ruthlesser than any other gangs run about Glasgow city centre.
Right, okay.
So things are getting a lot more tough on the streets of Glasgow.
Right, I see. So see, have you ever had any run-ins with them, be it doing what you're doing now? Like run-ins, no ended in particular, but has there been instances where, of course, you're trying to support the still suffering addict? Has there been any backlash or resistance for that?
I got told I had a hit out my head.
Really?
Yes, I got told I had a hit out my head. I got a message, and it was a boy who was in recovery, but he'd relapsed and he's in the streets. And he's saying, by the way, Francis, all that mob, you know, he used the expression yardies.
Right.
You know, like, I don't know any of these people. I don't know. But he was convinced, he's like, they're after the streets. They say that he stuck them on to the police and they all go to jail. And I'm like, oh, never stuck anyone into the police and been in the streets. It's not even met a police since we've been in the streets. No, it's definitely yours, man. It says there's a hit out your head, watch yourself. And I'm like, well, no, what? I'm just like, there's no hit out in my head. I said, and even if there was a hit out in my head, it ain't, and it will not stop me for carrying out the cause of serving the still suffering addict, man, or human being. So I still continue to do it. And I've got, oh no, my phone's in your living room. I'd have showed you the message. And well, the messages, you know.
Messages, so it's been one person telling you?
Aye.
Really? Aye, so it sounds quite, not so much credible, but there's an element of truth to it.
Aye, but on these parts, but we've never once, like, got drug dealers or anything in jail in the streets. That's not who we are. We're not there to expose drug dealing. We're there to expose the suffering of the still suffering human being and addict. So I was like, it must be it must be somebody else where I don't know, you know, but
I think people see people with addicts in cameras and they just put 2 and 2 together and come up with 5, and then suddenly, and maybe as you say, people have with the jail and then like, how did we get caught? Oh well, that guy was out with a camera, so
he
it must be him.
by is that day.
Aye, and then it's just that rather than it's because we're red hot or something like that. That's what it usually is.
Well, I was watching a guy on YouTube and he was interviewing one of the boys. We interviewed Stuart, but Stuart had a phone number wrote on his hand. So the guy's families went through and Stuart's shown him where he hits in the neck. He says, I'll hit there and all that stuff. I just had a hit there and a bit of blood and he's pointing to it. So he puts his horn away fast. But that guy got him to bring his horn up again. He's like, oh, can you just show me that again? And as Stuart's doing it, all of a sudden the camera's focus is on that phone number. You know what I mean? Is it something... Naito TV or something on YouTube? I'll find it. I'll send you the link.
Okay.
But you can plainly see the guys like that. So I'm like, is this the guys that's doing that sort of thing? I mean, why was he so interested in that phone number?
Well, so is the phone number probably the dealer?
Aye, that's who the phone number will be for. But it's just funny because, you know, I was like, fuck's sake, Stuart, that's mental, mate. Rub that phone number off. I'm shouting at my telly.
Commenting. He's never got to see it.
So, but when the guy says, oh, can you show me that again? But when Stuart lifts his horn up, right away the camera zooms into it. He doesn't even blur it.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? So I thought, well, you know what I mean? That's one way you're putting the heat on somebody, you know what I mean?
I suppose.
But for one thing, you know, that's not the purpose of the streets. The purpose of the streets is to serve still suffering. You know, I mean, that's their one true only purpose, and that will remain that way for years and years to come. There'll be no other purpose to the streets apart from serving others in need.
See, when you were on the streets yourself, did you have any support for like services, or did you engage with services, or was there even much?
No, when I was running about homeless. I remember going to the social work department at the car park at St Enoch Centre, the corner building. I remember going into that social work department there once, and they put me into this household. It was a Christian household, but I lasted 2 nights, 3 nights, I think, because they were wanting me in my bed at 6 o'clock at night. No telly, no radio, no nothing. Allowed 3 fags a day.
In the Wendy house?
Aye, I was like, no chance, man. So I'm off. They gave you pocket money, so I made sure I left the day I got the pocket money, and that was me. I was gone. I was just gone. You know what I mean? It was like, it's no for me. I found, as we were saying, the streets quickly became home, and the beautiful souls that I ran about, we became family. You know what I mean? And God bless most of the beautiful souls that they are no longer with us today, you know. They perish. So you know, good friends lost, man, you know, and that's where the streets is born from, man. That pain and that suffering, and experiencing that pain and that suffering, and just going back with the right people to highlight that and give these beautiful people a voice. So nobody in the house needs to die needlessly in the future. No mother, no father will need to feel the chill they'll feel when their door goes, you know, and they see a cop at the door, and they know they've got a daughter or son out there in addiction, because it's the worst call an officer of the law can make, and it's the worst news a mother or father could receive. So if the streets can serve a purpose of saving lives, and, you know, and caring for others, and, you know, that's what the streets will continue to do and will do. And as I say, we're new with this bomb, we're not to compete with anybody. You know, like the streets is willing to attach to any service, whether that be the Simon community, whether that be the Hub, any of these great services in Glasgow City Centre. You know, like, I am definitely willing to collaborate and tune in and meet and talk and share data and you know, just work towards that cause. what all these services are born for is the cause of others and make sure people are safe. So, you know, just want to work alongside. To really work alongside. These people have got more experience than us, you know. If we can be a service to them, then we are happy to be a service to them.
And it's working together towards a common goal, and as you say,
Yes.
you're all serving the same purpose, so there's no
Yeah.
need for anybody to get precious about anything,
Yeah.
or that way. It's and that's what it becomes about ego. Well, no, this is mine,
Yeah.
it's my vision, it's like it's our vision, it's
Yes.
for the greater good.
Yes.
See, so eventually there came a point where you got off the street and you left that.
Yeah.
What was the kind of factors that led into that? What kind of decisions, what kind of circumstances occurred for you to make that decision, right, this needs to stop? Was it a gradual thing, or was it one moment?
I remember coming to the end of my time in Glasgow city centre, and I remember I'd stopped using heroin at this point. Heroin wasn't serving at this point. I was intravenously with coke now. As soon as I took my first hit of coke, it wasn't long until heroin took a back seat. So I'm sitting there, and I remember my mate Vinny saying, he's like, "I'm proud of you." And I went, "What do you mean?" He went, You're no in the kit anymore, but I'm sitting with one more of coke kind of way. I'm like, I know, isn't it great? I'm healing. And no that long after our mate Rab died, and that was the saddest for me.
What happened to him?
OD'd.
Right, okay. Was he on the street or not?
Aye, and that was the saddest for me because he was one that would always know it was all. He was up at Hamish Allen's centre constantly. The guy should have been off the street. He should have had that room. That's all he needed. He says, "The day I get a room, that's the day, man. I'm going to work on getting off all this shit, you know." And that day never came. And, you know, any time I go out to the streets, I always think him. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why it was important for me when I met this guy, David, you know. And I seen him lost, and I suppose I seen a part of me, but I seen a big part of Robert as well. And that's why I offered him the hand, you know, and that's why we stuck with him and got him a hotel room that night and all of that, because I just thought Robert needed a room. I feel that with this guy. And I truly sacrificed, and I truly went above and beyond to help this man, And that's where my heart is, Jordan. It's just a case of I just want to. I know I can't help everybody in this world, but if I can help the Edwards and the Roberts, you know, then I will. And nothing will stop me from doing that, and that includes gangs or threats or anything like that. Nothing will stop me from completing that journey and leaving behind, no for one, but for many, a legacy that can live on and as a functioning charity helping others, you know. And that's just the goal right there. It's a great goal.
And you're well and truly on your way working towards it. And I say there's working towards that goal, but the goal is implementing it every day or every time you can do it. So I've been out with you, I've seen you like approaching everybody, and some people are just glad to have a conversation. Like the likes of Guy Jerry, we met outside the Shea now.
Yeah.
Time I was at Filmies one, he said, you asked him if there was anything he needed, and he says, "I've never been asked that before."
Yeah.
This is a grown guy, he's probably in his 30s, 40s,
Yeah.
it's definitely 40s I'd say, 40-year-olds,
aye,
and
yeah.
nobody's ever asked him that before.
Yeah.
So even just that, he didn't want anything, but
Yeah,
it was
exactly.
just the fact he'd been asked. You
It's
could hear it in his
just-
voice, he was surprised, he was caught off guard by it.
Exactly, innit? And you can see that, and it's just like what you said earlier as well. It's like asking somebody this: "How are you keeping today?" Just they words alone can make somebody feel so nice about themselves, especially like, you just ask me how I'm feeling. And then it streets me, you go up to someone, you go, how you doing today, mate? Want a cigarette or whatever? And they're like, I can't believe you just asked me how I'm doing, man. What's going on here? You know, like, and I've got that experience because you're like, what you after? You know, maybe you're asking me. It's just beautiful, man.
It catches people off guard because usually I see if people are, especially in like a street setting, if you're in like a drug setting or that type of environment, if people are showing concern for your welfare or they're about to give you something, there's usually a right, what's the agenda here?
Yeah.
Because most people are out to get. So even when they give, they're wanting to get.
Yes.
And that's the thing, even with being on YouTube, and we talk about these, your influencers popping up with a McDonald's bag or help the homeless and that's a get for them. There's no giving in that.
No.
That's for them, that's an investment.
Yeah.
I'll pay a tenner to get a Big Mac, whatever it costs, but then I'll get X amount of views, people watch my stuff, and it's that thing, virtue signaling, you're shown to care. And it's that way as well. It's people have to give the pretense, but what happens when the cameras are off?
Yes.
And I've seen it with yourself, when the cameras are off, what you're speaking, this isn't, you talk like this when the cameras are off.
Yeah.
The only difference is we've got a microphone on and cameras focused on you.
Yeah.
So I know you're speaking for the heart.
Yes.
And we talk about the Jesus thing, man. It's like people get caught up in religion, and I think it's because their knowledge, their education of religion is in school, and we associate that with rules, all these things, going to mass, singing all these hymns, and it's known, it's being the Good Samaritan.
Yes.
And
that is his teachings. I mean, that is his teachings, man. It's that goodness comes for the heart comes for the Father, you know. And he's teaching how to connect into that, how to connect heart and conscience. You know, it's a beautiful experience, man. You know, I mean, I love my faith, and I love my Lord Jesus Christ, and my faith is serving others. That's my faith, and my religion is serving others, as He did before me. You know, and it's a pleasure today, and it's just nice. You know what I mean? And I've met many great people in doing it. You know, like, it's amazing. Just like the wee guy we're talking about at the hospital, man. Beautiful wee guy, loves his dogs, know what I mean, loves his wee girlfriend, know what I mean. By the time we'd finished conversating, he was looking forward to getting out of the hospital and getting home. Whereas just 2 hours before, he thought life is done, you know what I mean. So it's just the power of people talking and understanding what another human being has gone through. Always just to see a better understanding of me leads to a better understanding of you, you know, and a better understanding of you leads to that of me, you know what I mean? And that's where it all starts, it's just understanding what's around us, you know, accepting it, and moving through it. But, and the way I do that is just trusting the process of my Lord Jesus Christ, amen, to the Lord of hosts, and that's the way I do it, and I just carry on. And sometimes Kaylee can look at me and go, how does that not bother you? You hear, no, it's like, because I accept and I greatness of that's greatness is the Lord Jesus Christ, and it removes all this stuff, you know. Can pride still be jumped in when it's removed? Of course it can, you know what I mean? Of course it can, but it's how we deal with it and recognise it. Like, oh, that was a bit prideful there, take it back in, you know, do a bit of work on it.
Yep.
And let it go. And if that pride hurt anybody there, or if I was selfish with it, I'll make an amends straight away as well, and I'll catch myself, because I've got a spirit within me today, I've got a light within me today that will correct me, and that spirit and light is the Lord Jesus Christ. And He's a great teacher at correcting me when I go wrong, you know, very quick like that. So
I can see when we talk about like just these wee acts of kindness, and it's so much. See, there was a study done where a guy was placed in a plane, and he was told to interact with a passenger, but he was not allowed to speak about himself. He could only ask about the passenger. So this passenger was blissfully unaware, and when he's came off the flight, they've kind of pulled him aside and just like, we're just doing a wee survey and that kind of thing. How was your flight? It's like, amazing flight, loved it. As I was sitting next to this guy, he was so interesting. And like, really, what was his name? And he was like, I don't know. He never told me his name. He just did. And people are at their most happiest when people show an interest in them.
yeah,
And sometimes that extends as how you doing, mate? How's your day?
Exactly.
There's one thing is we can sometimes I walk by somebody in the street, there's a couple of quid, mate, and you pass on, but sometimes how you doing, mate? You alright? What's your story?
Aye.
And both they'll light up. Very seldom go like that. They don't want to talk. They're usually the most chattiest people you can find.
Yes, 100%.
Something as simple as that, they'll light up their day.
Aye. Really light up somebody's day with just kind words like that. How you doing? What you up to the day? Where you going today? How you keeping? How you feeling? Nah, man, you warm enough? Want a coffee? All of the great things, it just helps build up that wee spirit and that wee soul, you know, that is, it's just a beautiful to be able to do that. I love it. I love it. I love the cause of helping others. Can my judgments be wrong at times? Yes, they can be. Will mistakes be made in the future? You know, we're all human beings. Mistakes, you know, happen. You know, will we take chances on people who will let us down and throw that kindness and greatness back in our face? Yes, already been there, already happened. You know what I mean? What I was telling you. So all that stuff's going to happen. It's just, how do we deal with that then? You know, when it does happen. And dealing with it always will be dealt with responsibly, honestly. You know, like rough, raw footage in the moment as it's happening. Pure honesty. It has to be. You know, I could go into detail here right now with you. You know, about the chances it's been took with a person. You know, it was volunteering for the streets. You know, chances were took on this person, man, above and beyond for this person. The person got everything they asked for. Oh yeah. You know, that person ended up in an ordeal which resulted in a tragedy, you know, and I can be honest about that today, you know, and I can be open about that, because the one thing that the streets promises is that honesty and footage, but it can't just be honesty and footage, it needs to be honesty in life, you know, to stand accountable for things, you know, and that's another reason I love my new life, because, you know, I can stand firm on a line today and answer any question that's put to me, you know. Will there be questions about this ordeal? Maybe there will be, but the one thing people can rely on for me at the streets is the honesty in that, you know. And the declaration, you know, like we can help people, you know, we can go our way. As I says, you know, something personal to me with a friend that passed away because they never got accommodation, things like that. That's what led me to take this chance, like that. And it was, you know, I can't take away for this person that I seen them tick all the boxes, do all the right things. Person was flying, doing great, you know. But that person ended up involved, you know. They ended up relapsing, they ended up involved, man. And, you know, they stopped being responsible, really, you know. They took their eye off the ball. It's just here so many times in the rooms we go to, people take their eyes off the ball, stop doing the work, the relapse. As a guy says at a meeting last night, I've never heard anybody that's doing full-time service relapsing, and if they say they were, they're bullshitting. You know what I mean? So aye, definitely. But I suppose in many ways I should have, you know, I shouldn't have. I was led with my heart. I'm always led with my heart. When I take, you know, when I go out there, I'm led with my heart. I'm looking for the Roberts, I'm looking for the Edwards. And that's why that chance was took with this volunteer.
But that's the thing as well, if you offer a gesture of goodwill to somebody and for whatever happens, if it does end up resulting in negative outcomes and consequences through that person's actions or decisions, then you can't be held accountable for that.
Yeah.
You've done right by them. If people have no honoured your kindness, then that's their issue.
They're not. They
So
bumped it to the ground.
exactly, and it's like, wouldn't they? Because some people would maybe take that and it would wound them quite understandably, and it would maybe make them shield up and no trust people. But that's just the nature of trust.
Yeah.
People will break it.
That's that. I always say when we're dealing with people, you know, like we have to separate ourselves from, like, we can't run about, oh, they're my friends and all that, you know, like, I couldn't do that, you know, I'm out doing work, you know, when I take a chance on this guy, I'm saying to him, you know, hopefully in the future we can become friends, we get to know each other, build that up, but right now it's just, you know, I'm helping you, I want to see you safe, I want to see you warm, I want to see you settled, let's get you brought up and fixed and things like that, you know, and that's exactly what I was doing there, and it was working, because the guy was flying. You could see him on some of the videos, volunteering, handing out teas, handing out that, and I really went above and beyond with this guy. But I mean, I was talking to him the day, and I was like, you know what, you've put you basically took everything I've done here and you threw it back in a very disrespectful way, and he went, oh, what you talking about, it's only 4 was. Basically, who cares if you lost your flat or whatever. I thought, wow, it's like, in that moment, you know, as I say, I just had to go, look, I need to go, God bless your day, and put the phone down, and in 9 minutes I can blow up. But no, I need to pull myself into a place of acceptance straight away, or I'm out looking for that guy within an hour. You know what I mean? So I need to pull that in. I need to pray, I need to meditate, I need to have the Lord Jesus remove it, because I'll not be able to remove it by myself.
Yep.
And, you know, I always say I have became this representation of Romans 12, renew a character, change your mind, heart. Oh yeah, God taking the heart of stone, placing it with a heart of flesh that beats love, and that's what I've got today. But I feel there's a lot of people still in the world and around me that can look at me and think, take that kindness for daftness, you know. It's like, and I feel it. I feel it, you know. I have some people, it's around my life today. It's like that, and it's a shame, because most people, you know, like Kaylee will say to me, no way you did that. No way you did that. And I was like, I did. She went, I can't see this. You know, because I met you. This man, you are the new. So when you talk about your past in rooms or whatever, or you tell me something that you're telling me, I can't see any of this. So you've done good in changing yourself and getting yourself to this point. So don't let anybody take that away. You know, she's like, and you can't think that you're this beautiful man today. And if somebody wants to take advantage of that, then let them. It's not going to break you or change you. You're still going to remain a good, decent, honest man. So it's people like that today in my life with advice like that. You know, and putting God above all them keeps everything balanced and fine and good. You know what I mean? Which is brilliant, man. Because I really do. You know, I really do love what I do, and I really do love my Lord Jesus Christ, because I was a broken man. You wouldn't even have noticed me. I was a fade to myself. I was bones with skin spray painted on, man. I was done in. You know what I mean? And to be sitting here, oh, it's amazing. It really is a thrilling, deep feeling. A pure awesomeness, man. You know, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to serve the still suffering human being. It's a pleasure to throw my hands in the air and praise in my Lord Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? And it's a pleasure to be sitting here with you, talking. I feel like I've been talking to you for about 8 hours, like we were talking in there for about 2 hours, weren't we?
I know. You could talk for an hour, 8 hours.
Aye, 100%, man, because talking about the cause of others and the power of change is amazing. And, you know, I've got people in my life today that see the power of change, but I've got people from my past coming in to attack me because they don't understand the power of change, you know. And there's a great bit in the Bible that always says the light doesn't understand the darkness. And that's what's happening in my life today. The establishment from my past think I'm still this bones with skin spray painted on, worthless man still sitting up in brick dust lane in various places. No, that they don't understand the power of change. It's like Frank Wilson's changed. He's who now? Francis Wilson, you know. All we know is this down and out addict. But they don't know me. You know, that's the thing. These people don't know me. They know the old me. They know the old heart, the old character. They do not know the new, renewed heart as promised by God, you know. And they don't know this character who sits across for you. And I look into your camera to invite them to come and get to know me, you know, because I'm certainly far from the broken, chaotic man I was, you know. I actually feel like I'm 100 light years away from, you know what I mean, to quote Star Trek. It's like, that's what I feel like, warp speed time away from. And it's such a freeing, good place to sit in.
One thing I'd like to ask you, see, when you talk about when you're looking at addicts in the street and you're seeing people that you've known in your past that's been on the street that never got the help that you're offering, the support which has caused them to lose their lives, was there any point when you were homeless on the street that you saw somebody that's a representation of the person you're the day, that good Samaritan, like somebody that committed a true act of kindness?
Oh, right, so did I ever see somebody that was a broken addict then getting it together?
Essentially, like, see what you're doing now with the streets,
Aye.
not so much on a public platform. Was there any, we talk about what are the worst moments you encountered in the street, and of course these stories are important to highlight the harsh reality of your experience, but was there any moments of where you experienced true kindness?
See, I need to think there, because most of the services in the town when I was there would be like,
Doesn't need to be a service, it could be just a random member of the public.
aye, okay, I can go back to when I was 17, 18, and I was staying at Central Station, the side bit, not the main entrance. And this woman came up to me, and she asked me if I was hungry, and I says, aye. And she's like, well, I'm going to get a train to London. She's gone up for a train to London, right? And it was due in like an hour. And was it a Wimpy it was there at the time? I think it was a Wimpy. It took me, and I'd never been in a burger place. Nah, I mean, never ever had the money, nah, I mean. And she took me in, and she got me a big meal. Burgers, chips, big drink and all that. And I think burger places, was that what age was that? I think burger places just been out. They weren't there really out for long. And I'm sitting in this place eating these burgers and these fries, and she filled me right up, man. Then I thought she went, right, I'm away now, I hope you enjoyed that, and gave me a £10. And that was one act of pure kindness, man, because I was really hungry, and now I've got a full belly of food and a tenner, and this beautiful woman is just away now to get her train to wherever she goes. So if you were the person that bought a wee guy burgers and fries, that was me. Thank you. No, probably about 19 or something.
I know, was that 33 years ago? But I wonder, was there ever any occasions where you met a Francis Wilson, the new? Like back then, was there a guy that's doing what you're doing, like somebody that was looking for the still suffering addict and try to support them?
Nah. No back in my day. Like, growing up, we had the men that served in the Wayside Club, no Legion of Mary, they were quite nice people, and you get a couple of them back in the day, would come out and walk about and ask you if you're okay. And they just, Legion of Mary, the Wayside Club, they show acts of kindness just by opening their doors and bringing people in, you know, soup and sandwiches and things. But apart from that woman, I can't say, because I wish I'd met a Francis. If I'd met me, I wouldn't be sitting here now.
Right.
I wouldn't be. I often see it. If I'd met me, I wouldn't be sitting here now. I'd have seen me and took all the help as I possibly could for me, man. Like somebody wrote, what would you say to your younger self? No. Then I know exactly what I would say. So I'd have loved to have met me when I was younger. Sounds weird talking like that. I'd have loved to have met me, but I'd have loved to have met a me back then, because I really do believe a me would have saved me. You know, I mean, I was always a wee boy who was just looking for identity and a place to belong, Jordan. And nobody ever taught me or showed me another place away for the tune. So if I'd met somebody like me would have showed me another place away for the tune.
Right.
And I'd have grabbed that with both hands.
So see, rather than asking, what would you say to your younger self? What would your younger self have said to you?
I'd probably batter me a baseball bat. You, man, what have you done
He's
to
your
me?
money.
Aye, what's going on?
He's that watch.
Aye.
That nice jacket, I
No,
know.
I mean, fuck, man. Aye, I think the younger self would definitely attack me, man.
Aye, but that's that environment. That's what it does. It primes
Yeah.
you for that. It's like it sees that act of kindness, and it's survival at the end of the day. And people don't see it because see, if we look at, like, if we talk about a jungle environment, the jungle's inhabited by the animals of the kingdom. So the humans very rarely go there because they know it's a dangerous environment.
Yes.
But there's the streets. You've got two worlds. You've got the homeless addicts in the street, they're living in one world, and you've got the general public, they live in another world.
Yes.
It's almost like a parallel universe. They pass by each other, but they very rarely intermingle.
Exactly.
And it's only for brief visits.
Yes.
Maybe somebody stop by, how you doing, and that, but we'll no stay unless we're forced into that world. It's like Jumanji. We'll play the game sometimes, but if you get sucked into the game, you very struggle to get back out.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I want to do. You know, it's like we says it the streets, man. It's like be that bridge, that understanding, that it fills the gap. And by the way, I've been pretty successful at it because, you know what, I remember getting on a train, this woman, very polite woman, right, university lecturer, retired. She comes up, she says, "Oh, Francis, I absolutely love the work you do." All of that, we're having a beautiful long conversation. And she goes, "And I just want to tell you, I would never stop, I would never speak, I would always look down on these people. But now, watching you talk, the way you deliver, the way you bring an understanding, I stand and talk now. I got up to my sisters and watched the streets on a Tuesday. She says, we'll go out and we'll give some sandwiches out and we'll stand and talk. So keep doing it because you've changed my perspective." So it's just, as you say there, you know, you've got that world and you've got that world. So the streets in and out just like sort of being a bridge, sort of filling that gap to bring an understanding and a goodness. And, you know, that's what we say, building up a community within a community. You know what I mean? Bringing these people together, letting people understand, you know. Because it's like, people associate a drug addict to a housebreaker or whatever, you know, and see the reality is, Jordan, I know a lot of addicts, and see if you've got 10 addicts on, I guarantee you that now 2 of them have tan tussies, man, the other 8 ain't, you know what I mean? That's the truth, it's the reality. A lot of people think, you know, I don't like saying I'll just say the J word, you know, the J word, I dislike that label so much. You know, people only understand where that word comes when you look at the dictionary. No human being is junk. You know, no human being is worth being discarded as junk, thrown away. We are all worth it. Because I was a worthless, broken man, you know, and I was always in the head knowing I'm worthless. Today I know I am worth it. But I was junk in somebody's eyes, worth thrown to the side. But the day I am a diamond and I am gold in the Lord Jesus Christ's eyes, you know, who raised me for being a dead man to sit here a living man. So I'm no junk, and there's no such thing as that. I dislike it. You know, you ask somebody, why are you calling that person that? Because he robs all grannies and tan hussies. That's not the case, man. You know, not every addict robs sissies and robs all women. Yes, they are addicts like that, but that's not every addict. You know what I mean? It's a disgusting word, you know, that word, man, because if people only took time to look at the suffering of a human being that suffers an addiction, you know, these people are worth saving and lifting up, you know, because they have also got a beating heart within their bodies. They're human beings like the one doing the labelling. And that's what, you know, affects me about that word. It's, you know what I mean? It's like you're at the end of your life and that's all you are now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's horrible, man.
See, on my documentary that I've just finished, James Docherty, he features heavily in it, if you know James.
Yeah.
He's a big advocate for recovery and probably I'd class him as an expert in trauma. I'm going to quote him, and he says when talking about that word that's derived from the word junk, which means of no use, to discard, to throw away.
Yeah.
And he says 75% of females accessing recovery services report a history of childhood sexual trauma. And he's saying we're telling people they were brutalised in childhood, that they're of no use, to discard them, throw away, and we wonder why they don't get better.
Exactly.
And it's such a powerful point, and you understand the context and the connotations of the word, and you realise, wow. And it's that way as well, and it goes back to that thing, if you're an addict living in the street, you're getting called that word, you're getting that belief reinforced that you don't exist, because when you've got people walking by you that aren't even acknowledging your presence, you start to feel invisible.
Yes, you can get that feeling of isolation and visibility in the tune very fast. You can become very lost in the tune very fast. Like, the tune seriously is, man, it's a case, and I don't like using this expression, the fittest survival, the fittest, you know, but in the tune, man, if you could die very fast in Glasgow city centre, man. Very fast. Like, I used to wake up one eye open, go to bed one eye shut. Logistics, man. You know, it was like the jail for me. You know what it's like? You get up, and I was in the jail in the slop at days, man. So getting up, one eye open, logistics, known faces, who's who, watch it for him, brand new. Like Jack Victor, good guy, wanker, I mean, like that. But that's the deal, and I carried that out into the streets as well. No, but I say co-pilot. I had a co-pilot in the jail, brilliant. I had fucking 4 co-pilots in the streets, man. That, I mean, people you trust, innit? People you know who's got your back, you'll get their back. You know, if you're doing, you need a horn, they're going to give you a horn. It's like that. So I just took sentiments for that. I remember somebody slagged me. And a comment, they went, talking about a co-pilot, says, jail, mate, nah, I mean, no outside. And I went, well, no, what, it worked for me in there, and I just carried the word out into the streets at work. Nah, I mean, and it's the same thing. Nah, I mean, so like that. But definitely, man, Glasgow city centre was my home, and the people were my family. And the day that family's like, I seen Wary guys like a few weeks ago, Big Mick, and he thought I was dead.
Really?
It was like a realisation, man. The two of us are sitting down, I'm drinking kind of ginger, and I know who he is. Nah, I mean, I'm sitting like, I wonder how long it's going to take him. And he's just looking, I just seen it. It's the way he's just something like, I hang with my face there a bit. And he just looked into my eyes and he jumped. I was like, fuck's it. He knows me as Frankie. Frankie, man. Thought you were dead. Like that the usual. If you're no seen, everybody thinks you're dead or in the jail. Nah, I mean, or some local dealer took you away and you're up the Campsies somewhere. Nah, I mean, it's mental. And that's another thing that nobody ever thinks, no, they got half everything, they're away clean. It's always, no, dead, jail. You know what I mean? Or murdered.
Yep.
Nobody ever thinks the power of change. Because, as you say, you know, we're in there, we're getting labelled with names, we're conditioned to think that we are worthless, you know, like that. We are the labelling and the lack of services that help all it, man. So some people can become very quick, like I say, she isn't moving.
I know.
you know, then it becomes that way. And that's all, you know, like for the streets to be founded as a charity and have the hub and that, and these beautiful souls can come in, you know. I like to think one man's vision for the many, you know. One man's vision turns into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 100 visions, all collaborating together to make the one big great vision. You know what I mean? And I think that's brilliant today, and we will achieve it. And because we've got boys like yourself, Jordan, me Pepsi, Kaylee's friend, and many other boys, you know, at work come in help, and we've got Aldo, you know what I mean, who sits with me on the streets, you know what I mean, and it's like that. You know what I mean, everybody, as I say on camera, we're shoulder to shoulder, eye to eye, we're equal, you know, and just carry on equal. You know what I mean? We've all got our own paths and journeys and goals. You know what I mean? We've all got our own thing going on. But the one thing we've all got in our hearts that we know is we've got this cause to help others. And it's bringing that together. You know what I mean? And finding that ground where we can build that up. And I think there's nothing more important to do that, to go out, for me, to go out and seek. Now, if I'm on YouTube, I'm going through and I'm looking, and I'm seeing that this wee guy, there's another wee guy, Glasgow Bros. He was out with us once, and he's got all these wee bags made up. It's amazing. Wee bags of hope, I says, because they had everything in them. And we walked about with that boy, and he was a really good boy, man, Glasgow Bros. So people like that, bringing people like that, man, you know, and getting to know people like that, you know, Jordan, and I believe that we can all do something great here, man. You know what I mean? Because we've got the platforms, we've got the access, we've got the experience, and I really do believe there's no better cause. That there's no better cause than helping somebody who suffers. That there's no better cause to see the person who suffers going through a healing process to then get to the place where they're no suffering now. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful experience, because it's like you can look in the mirror and you can look at yourself, and I can look at myself in the mirror for longer than 2 minutes today. I never ever used to look in the mirror. People used to go, you don't get a mirror in the house. I go, I just don't look in it. They didn't know it's because I couldn't stand to look at myself. But the day I can stand and look at myself and see that change, you know, and I've seen the same change in people that we have helped, that have took it and accepted it and got on with it. And that's a great joy for me. You know, there's a wee guy, he went to Nottingham Rehab Teen Challenge, and he's down there now. He's no on the streets right now. And that's a great thing, you know. Just to know he's no in a hostel to know he was a heroin user, to know he's no in that hostel now for a heroin or Valium. He's down in Nottingham in a rehab, safe and sound. And that's because a good man contacted the streets to tell us that's what he does. He can get people out of rehabs. And he kept his word, and young Robert is in a rehab right now as we speak.
Fantastic, man.
And that's good. I mean, and that's a soul off the streets.
Yep, and that's the power of the streets and the power of the work you do, man. And it's a pleasure to watch what you're doing, and a pleasure just that one occasion to come out with you. And of course, it'd be a pleasure to come out and help in any way I can.
Yes.
Offer my services in any way I can, just for, and it's the giving. It's no get out. I'm not just saying that for the purpose of the podcast. We've spoken about it before, so I'd be more than happy to help, man. But it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
Aye, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you.
Feels if we could go on for a another number of hours, but people won't realise this is late at night and he has to get up the road.
Exactly. What time?
It's 10:30.
10:30, aye.
So just before we finish, if you get like a message you'd like to pass on to like maybe it's somebody that's suffered in homelessness, addiction, or any kind of troubles that you've faced.
The thing we always get told is you're no longer alone. And I was talking to somebody today about that, and when I first ever went into a Cocaine Anonymous meeting, I walked in, I seen it on the wall, "You are no longer alone." I thought, aye, right, who wrote that? And I sat down. By the time that meeting ended, I knew I was no longer alone. I knew that on that wall was true. I know I'm not the only one that sits with these thoughts, these feelings, and these ideas. I quickly found out that I am not alone, and either are you alone. You know, you who's sitting at home right now, watching this podcast, you're not alone. The feelings you've got, the thoughts that you've got whenever you use drugs, that what your head tells you, that this is all good and brilliant. That's what my head told me. That's what Jordan's head told him. So you're not alone with these feelings, and it's no easy to stand up and break through them, but we do these small things. And where I started was, I could be sitting in my flat could be upside down, but I started disciplining myself. Making the bed for me was a win. Having a shower was a win. Opening the front door to go down the stairs was a win. So if you're sitting at home alone, and you've got these feelings that you feel like you can't go up to shower, if you feel like you can't go up to make your bed, if you feel stuck, just know that you're no alone. Because I felt I was alone, but I quite soon came very fast to find that I was not. And it took me 1 hour to know I wasn't alone when I first walked into my room. So you're no longer alone either. Amen.
It's a pleasure having you, mate.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thanks, mate. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, if anywhere people can find you,
contact the streets platforms. I would say my number, but I'm 50 and 11 digits. Remembering in the day is hard, but Jordan will put a wee.
We'll stick something in the bottom.
We at the bottom, and contact me anytime. Honestly, I mean, I know some people say that, but contact me anytime. You know. Thank you.
Thank you, Francis. Like, subscribe, and don't get wide, people. Catches.